Hello, in the last video we have seen I have created some videos based on the Hibernate framework. Okay, now we are going to see some extra thing that we are going to learn from the Hibernate. Okay, what is that? Okay, we are learning about the annotation at the rate generated value. What is the use of this generated value annotation? Okay, where it will be using the integer value. Okay, it will be using the integer value as an id, and it will be incremented automatically. Means when we use at the rate generated value, okay, it will be incrementing automatically. We don't need to add any ids externally explicitly. Okay, means we'll be using this annotation in this format. Okay, so we don't need to set any ids further. So let us have a look over that. So I am creating a class. Okay, I'll name it as shoe. Yeah, shoe I am creating, and here on the top of the class, to create a table, I am using at the rate entity annotation, and at the rate id, which is required for generating primary key. Okay, for which column? For id column. So next I will give string brand. Okay, next I will give the price of that shoe. So as usual we will be generating getters and setters. So I am generating getters and setters as well as toString. So before we used to create entity class in this format. Now what we are going to do is we are adding one extra annotation on the top of the id column, because we can use annotation. We can use this annotation. Okay, which annotation? At the rate generated value, only for this format, integer format. Only for integer format I am using. Okay, we are using at the rate generated value. Okay, and here we are using what kind of strategy? Generation type dot identity we use for MySQL database. Okay, I'm using this identity. So now whenever we use this, means we don't need to set any IDs for this shoe object. For this shoe object I don't need to set anything. So now I will be creating one class. Okay, I will be using one of the controller class. Okay, to utilize that. So here I will utilize that. So instead of going somewhere, so now what I will do, I will create shoe object. Shoe s1 equals to new of shoe s1 dot set brand Nike, s1 dot set price 3000. Okay, now we have to maintain the transaction. This one et dot commit. Now if you observe here, I did not set the id because it will be auto generated. I did not set the value for id column. Okay, I did not set the id for this column. So what I will do, just I will provide details, brand and price only. Now I will be running this. So now you are carefully observe here. Okay, table is created and data is inserted. Now if you see, there are only two values are inserted. Now if we go and check the database, let us check the database. Not this. So where to check in which database it is stored. So we have to go to src main resources. Okay, my bank. It is inside the my bank database. So let us go to the my bank database. Now here you can see shoe table is created, and here if you observe carefully, here you can see the ID is automatically generated. We did not set any value. It has been generated automatically by the Hibernate framework for this table. Okay, in the same way I will persist one more data. You can understand. I will write another branch. So now I'll run this class. The data is inserted. Now we'll go and refresh this. Now can you see here one more ID is generated automatically. We did not set any values. Okay, this is the use of @generated value. And we have one more feature in the Hibernate framework. What is that one more feature? Now we'll see that. Okay, now you carefully observe. Okay, there is one more annotation. Okay, that we are going to learn now. Okay, what is that one more thing? Okay, use of mappedBy attributes. Okay, mappedBy attribute is very important attribute. MappedBy attribute is used when we are performing one-to-many relationship. Okay, because when we perform one-to-many, it generates three tables. When we use mappedBy, it generates only two tables. Okay, it generates only two tables. Now let's have a overlook of this. So we'll perform one-to-many in this format. Okay, we'll be creating one class candidate and another one is course. So here every candidate will be having list of courses, okay, which represents one-to-many relationship. One candidate will be enrolled for many courses. So course @entity course. So this is how we will perform one-to-many relationship. When we perform these kind of relationship, one-to-many relationship in this way, it will be generating three tables actually. How many tables? Three tables. Means it will be creating candidate table, course table separately, and one more table which is the combination of both primary keys, that is candidate course table. Now why it is happening? Why? Because now if you have a look over this here, there are two constraints in the candidate class, and the third constraint is courses. So now when you provide the third constraint as courses, it cannot take the all primary keys of the course table. Okay, it cannot take all courses primary keys. Okay, in this candidate table it is not possible. It is not possible. So that is the reason it is creating one more table, that is candidate course table. Okay, where primary keys are mapped with the primary keys of course table. Now we cannot provide here, and we cannot avoid this third table. Now we have to reduce the number of tables that are creating. So I want to reduce it into two tables only. What is the possible way? We'll see now. Okay, so now I will be creating two example classes. We'll see. Okay, I'm creating a class that is user. I will name it as user. So now I will be providing @entity. Here @id. I want @id is used to generate primary key for the provided column. Int id. Now I want to auto generate. So for that we use @generated value. Strategy generation type dot identity. We use identity for, especially for MySQL database. Okay. You can also use auto also, but most of the time identity is much better. Private string name of the user. So user will be enrolled for many courses. So I'm using one-to-many annotation. Private okay, list use a collection java.util. So here we'll be providing course. Here we'll be providing it as courses. So, and I am generating getters and setters for this class as usual. Right. Now if you see, like we have represented one-to-many relationship. One user will be enrolled for many courses, and I am going to create a class course. Okay, class course I am creating. Course is also an entity class. @id, and I want to auto generate generated value. I will provide first ID, then I will write strategy. Generation type dot identity will use private string course name. Duration, I'll just generate a getters and setters. So we have saved it perfectly. And if you observe, now we have created normal one-to-many relationship which generates 3 tables, but we want to reduce it to only 2 tables. Okay, here one user is there, another one is course. Now in order to use mappedBy, okay, so first what we have to do, we have to use mappedBy. Why we are using mappedBy means it will tell the Hibernate framework, okay, not to create the third table, just enough with only 2 tables. But how it is possible? Okay, so now if you observe clearly here in the picture, if you clearly observe, in the candidate table we cannot take all the primary keys of courses. Means for one primary key of the candidate can be assigned for one primary key of the course table. So here it is not possible to take the foreign key column inside the candidate table. So in that case, what we can do is, I can create a foreign key column inside the course table. Okay, I can create foreign key column inside the course table. Okay, so here the candidate ID can be given for Java as well as SQL also. Okay, that is the reason. Okay, we can reduce That is the reason we cannot create foreign key column inside the candidate table. It can be represented inside the course only. Now to represent inside the course table as a foreign key column. So if we remember, we can see that kind of table structure in many to one relationship. Okay, it can be represented using many to one relationship. So here it's very simple. When we want to utilize many to one, okay, we can use mappedBy. So it is the child entity, okay. So here we'll be representing as many to one relationship, and here will represent as private user. So if you observe here carefully, we are using @many to one, means many courses will be enrolled by a single user. Means at the same time, okay, we represented inside the user class as one-to-many annotation representing list of courses. Here list of courses will be enrolled by a single user. So here what we have to do, we have to use this constraint, okay. Copy this variable and paste, and you have to paste for the mappedBy annotation. So here we use mappedBy. So here we have to provide the string value, and here we have to paste that value. Sorry, where it is? Okay, here what we have to do is, so we have to copy this variable, and here you have to paste it. So when we use this mappedBy, then only it will be generating two tables. Otherwise it will create three tables, okay, which is of no use. So we can reduce the number of tables. So now we'll have a quick overview once again. Don't worry about this. Many to one we have to represent inside the code. So in the user I have to represent one to many, and then we can utilize a mappedBy attribute. Now so I'm using the student controller here. So here I will be creating one object, user u1 equals to new of user. u1 dot set name of the user. I am writing Roshan, and here I am writing a course C1 equals to new of course C1 dot set course name Java, C1 dot set duration 48 days, C1 dot set okay. We have to generate getters and setters also for that. Here I have measured the getter and setter for the user. We have to generate. So we have to generate getters and setter for the user also here inside the course class. So I am generating getter and setter for the course. So here you can see here getter and setter for the user. So save this class, and here you have to set the user for this course. c1.set user u1. You are sending the user u1, and here you have to persist both the objects. But okay, fine. So here you have to persist both objects. Persist user1. So you are persisting user as well as course. So table course is created, table user is created. Okay, you can understand here only two tables are created. Oh, I did not persist this C1 also. C1 I did not persist, I forgot. So you have to persist now C1. It's already there, and here u1 dot set id1. For now I'll keep. Okay, I'm commenting this line. I'll remove this line. Now I can save the course for that version. Okay, course also is so here we can go and check course table. Another one is user. Okay, so there are two tables which are created. Okay, so now we will try to understand what is there. Snipping. Okay. So this is the table which is created inside the user table it is, and course table. Okay, here you can understand this is the user table. Okay, this is the user, this is the course table. Now here what happened when we used mappedBy, so inside the user table it is informing the Hibernate framework to generate the foreign key column inside the course table. So in the course table we represented using an annotation, that is @many to 1. Okay, so it will be end up with only two tables, but when we use only @many 1 to many, it is creating three tables actually. So here the best thing is when we use mappedBy, it is ended with only two tables. So this is the actual use of mappedBy attribute. Now we'll try to add some more data. So we don't need to set any IDs from now on, from first only, but some mistakes are done. Okay, I will write Raghav return. So I will persist u1. So I am persisting user and course as well. So now you can see the difference. So So both are inserted. So now here you can see for the second user it is used as Python. Okay, now I can add some more data also for the same. So what I will do, I will use Ramesh SQL 30 course C2 equals to new of course C2 dot set course name. I will write as selenium. C2 dot set duration 48. Okay, now for this course also I will set the user object, set user. So I am persisting. Okay, now I have to persist 3 objects. So that is C2. Alright, C1, C2. Now you can understand. So I will be running this. I have changed all the data. Now I have inserted all the data. Now here you can observe carefully, everyone. Now SQL and Selenium is enrolled by the same user with ID number 3. With ID number 3. With ID number 3, that is Ramesh. Ramesh is enrolled for 2 courses. This is the use of mappedBy, and thank you very much. Hope you understood. Meet up in the next class.